So, Logic decided to retire from his rap career and to move on to better things. And with the release of No Pressure, started with heavy production from No ID and soul-inspired songs, it revived in me a need to sample a gospel record and to make a beat. So let's get on it. Usually, when looking for gospel soul type of samples, you really want to choose something that moves or possibly make you even faint. When the storms of life, oh help me Lord, I'm not be alone, I'm not be alone, I'm not be alone. Safe in His Arms by Reverend Milton Bronson and the Thompson Community Singers is what I chose for the beat. You can find so many tracks like this all over the internet, whether it's composition or full records, just dig where you have to. YouTube itself is a goldmine for finding sick samples, whether it's a dark East European metal band's guitar lead or a classic soulful track. In my opinion, what you decide to sample from the track itself is more important than any other elements of the beat, as this will be the bulk of it all and the rest will be built upon it. So it's always good to test different sections of the samples and see how well they can fit together, just to add more flavor to the overall result. In my case, I sampled 3 parts of the record, just so that in the verses the 16s never get too repetitive. When it comes to sampling itself, I think it's just about how creative you can get, because at this point, nothing can really limit you. Making music is just tons of experimentation until you get the result you're happy about. Looking at the ways goats such as Dilla, Madlib, Doom, Timbaland or Kanye sampled and how well they flip the original tracks into whole new songs are always fascinating. Whether it's an old Bollywood song or a Motown record, the flips most of the time are surprisingly amazing. But I digress. Coming back to my sample, since I've selected whichever parts I prefer, I just load them into Fruity Slicer, pitch them and try to find the most appeasing pattern. Granted, it always takes me a while to find the sweet spot for the best chops.
Now listen! That's called motherfucking bars, nigga! You know nothing about that! Yeah.
So in the meantime, while my old self is busy with that, let's talk about the drums. As you might have guessed, the drums I'm going for are boom bap, and to be honest, I prefer them instead of trap ones, not because I'm an old head or anything, but mainly because the organic groove that you can create is much more pleasing than a generic trap beat. Although both types of drums are in their own way repetitive, for example main snares landing on the second and the fourth beat for boom bap and on the third and the seventh for trap ones, I get a more human feel from the former ones, and even though I tend to just program the drums in my laptop by clicking and dragging, that sense of live instrumentation is always present. This effect is also automatically boosted by the sound selection of drums which one can decide to choose. When making drums for old school beats, I always try to make them as rich and as groovy as possible. I tend not to quantize pattern and to shift them slightly from their original position, so they have a slight delay on the tempo. I also alter the velocity between them just so that there is an illusion of movement in the track. On a side note, if you feel that your drums aren't snappy or hard enough, just layer them with more drums to get a punchier, in-your-face kind of vibe. Each beat is different, so be sure the drums you choose are complementary to your track. With that out of the way, let's check up on the beat. So the only thing missing is a bass, which I can't lie, trying to make a bass line for all samples from scratch is like a boss battle for me. The time I spend trying to find the right notes and a semi-decent pattern is actually miserable. So for this reason, I'm gonna ask my brother to do it for me.
Yo, bro.
Yeah, man.
I need a bass line real quick.
I got you.
So now that we have it all, we just gotta add a few more layers of melody and the beat should be done. I feel that these new services like Arcade or Splice can only enhance the producer's creativity, and if you feel some type of way about it, let me quote Kenny Beats.
I want to dispel all this shit about like, my beats aren't good enough if I use the loop, or I'm not a real producer if I fucking got something from somebody else, or I'd use this. Let me tell you what a real producer does. A real producer does whatever the fuck they can to make the best song possible.
With that being said, I used a couple of brass sounds from the chop line to remove a bit of focus from the sample and to make the beat sound less stale. Finally, I've added some chords from our non-sphere organ preset, and here is the final result.
Warna is on the beat.
Okay, so if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching the video. These are post-video thoughts after the editing process, and it took a while, but we made it. This video was supposed to be released a long time ago, but because of my laziness and because I don't really have a schedule for YouTube, I just finished it now and it's now on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the content. It took a while to write, and if you're wondering why there's no like actual breakdown of the beat, is because I had that idea in the beginning, but when I started writing the script, I felt that it would be more interesting to just do like a kind of like a small video essay on beat production and soul as a genre, and just kind of wanted to give it a take. Furthermore, I just want to say that editing is a bitch. You don't want to get into it, because I literally learned how to edit just to make this video. I don't know if there will be more of this. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please give it a like, thumbs up. It's the same thing, doesn't matter. You want to subscribe. You don't want to, leave a comment. Finally, a quick word from a sponsor.
Yeah guys, so basically everything he said gonna be on our in the description, and, and we're gonna have you're gonna find the link for the Lo-Fi EP for VZA's album, fully produced by us and the great Riley Storms, and even the link to our website where you got kits for producers and beats for you artists. Hope you enjoyed the whole show, and well, see you again guys.
Whew. Oh boy, this man really stole the show, huh?